There is different type of SPSS for the MacBook and then also the Windows. So Rekha will give the data set, and then we will learn how to use the SPSS in the ways of the statistic calculation on the running environment that we usually use, like the mean, standard deviation, and also reliability. So at least when you share the data that the instrument has been translated to Bahasa, you can calculate the mean of student perception on each scale. So I will give time to Rekha to proceed the workshop, and then both in the Zoom and also in this session, if you have anything that needs to be clarified, please feel free. You don't have to be wait until the end of the session. Thank you. Please, Rekha, you can proceed the session.
Start for today. I want to let you know, we'll try to be as fast as possible with statistics, but I had a look at your questions. And most of the questions are around research methodology and data analysis. So hopefully we should be covering most of your questions by end of today. But in case I don't address anything, please feel free to send me an email and I can have one-to-one meeting with you online when I'm back home. I'm happy to do that. Now, I have you given them access to bit.ly? It is bit.ly/LER_23.
It is the same with the link that you have been uploaded.
Yes.
Okay.
It's your link, what your link sent me, so that all of us are working on the same file. If you can go onto that website, which I have here.
It is in here, Rekha?
Yes. Go to Indonesia.
Bapak Ibu buka link drive-nya, kemudian
not to Indonesia.
Jakarta workshop yang link you want to share on the Zoom.
Yeah, just a minute. Let me get
yang di link drive itu kan ada presentation, ya.
Go to presentation. What I'm doing is,
terus ada Rekha Jakarta workshop 2023, ya. Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom bisa
if I go on to Rekha Jakarta, there is CEC secondary. You have quite a few, data sets there, but let's start with CEC secondary. This is the data on the basis of which I made yesterday's presentation. So no secrets. You have.
Yeah, it is difficult because it's not really.
Okay, that's fine. Can you hear me now? People
yang di Zoom
on the Zoom.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. So this is the file which we will be opening up in SPSS. So how many of you have SPSS downloaded on your computer? I have.
Yes, Miss. Already.
So what I'm going to do.
Sudah bisa buka filenya belum?
Itu file SPSS atau apa ya, Prof?
Filenya yang di chat itu ada file workshop ya.
Enggak maksudnya?
File workshop di situ ada bagian presentasi ya.
Oh ya, itu sudah bisa, Prof.
Kemudian di bagian presentasi ada yang
C.
di bagian presentasi sebentar. Suara probably
Filenya yang CC secondary ya, Prof ya?
CAC secondary. Jadi
Ya,
ini yang di workshop kan Bapak Ibu nanti akan lihat seperti ini ya. English Indonesia tuh instrumen yang bahasa Inggris, instrumen bahasa Indonesia yang dari saya. Kemudian presentation, open yang presentation, terus ada yang ini Rekha Jakarta workshop ya. Jakarta workshop ada CAC yang secondary. Jadi itu dataset yang sudah Rekha berikan. Nah, kalau SPSS harus download dulu gitu ya. Jadi saya ini kira-kira di ruangan ini udah punya SPSS. Oke ya. Berarti yang di Zoom mungkin kalau yang bisa download bisa download. Ini suaranya udah terdengar ya dari Zoom ya?
Sudah jelas, Prof.
Sudah ya. Nah, berarti silakan disiapkan SPSS-nya. Kemudian datasetnya yang dibuka ini. Kalau yang di Zoom SPSS-nya udah yang di Zoom.
It's okay, sudah ada dari
saya semalam sudah berikan ini ya. Can we give like 5 minutes to some of the still? Ya. Jadi saya berikan waktu 5 menit ya, Bapak Ibu, 5 menit untuk
install.
5 menit untuk download SPSS yang nggak punya SPSS, kemudian buka datasetnya karena nanti dataset ini kan kita upload di filenya SPSS. Ya, jadi minta tolong di download SPSS-nya. Yang di Zoom ada yang kesulitan?
Cuman agak berat itu ini filenya kalau di download. Tapi sudah ada sih, Prof.
Those who have opened it, you can save this file on your desktop.
Yes.
It will be easier to work after.
Jadi yang udah buka file CAC secondary itu ya, yang Rekha buka sekarang, letakkan di desktop. Jadi nanti cari filenya lebih mudah ya daripada kita buka-buka lagi di save as atau apa yang ada di sini gitu. Yang di Zoom ada pertanyaan? Sambil kita tunggu Bapak Ibu siap semua untuk membuka SPSS-nya dibuka sama file Excel-nya ya. Oke, mungkin sampai jam 9 9 past 10 on my computer we will start for
Have you access to it? You know, the bit LER, the resource website, but Juli has set up in there. There's a file, Rekha, Jakarta workshop.
saya nggak ngeh lagi tuh ya. Minta ID lagi, bukannya kalau trial nggak ini ya?
the presentations. Rekha Jakarta workshop 25.
I will just download
Yeah,
and then give it
no,
to
I
them.
only put this. No.
Correct. Okay, the student will ask. Tanya aja yang belum dapat X itu ya. SPSS-nya.
So how online people download it?
Yeah, I already
So
I
should we start then?
wait, I just would like to give the file directly because
Yeah.
probably some of them just
Saved on the desktop. Because it will be easier for us to open it in SPSS from the desktop than cloud.
so I already send the filenya sudah saya kirim di WhatsApp dan di Zoom ya, yang CAC secondary kalau kesulitan. Bu, siapa namanya tadi? Ibu udah SPSS-nya? Kok nggak bisa ya? Harusnya sih bisa ya. Apa karena saya UNJ ya? Siapa yang belum? Sih harusnya enggak ya. Wait, Rick.
Some people are unable to drive. Download.
Mungkin partneran dulu untuk SPSS-nya yang belum ya, supaya kita bisa proceed ya. Oke, Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom mungkin kalau SPSS-nya bermasalah, nanti sambil lihat ya sebenarnya apa namanya, Bapak Ibu bisa lihat sekalian nanti saya share instrumennya CAC yang bahasa Inggris ya. Ada sebenarnya di drive juga. Oke, Rekha, yes please proceed Rekha. I will share the file, the CAC instrument, your instrument, so they know what is it. Yeah. Yeah.
I kept this data file quite clearly, labeled. Share the data file if you want.
Yeah, I did.
They don't need to go onto the cloud.
Yeah. Ya, I did.
You
Saya udah share data file CAC-nya ya, udah buka ya Excel-nya. Ibu kalau mau deket sama Bapak, maksudnya yang punya PSS Pak? Gitu. Ya udah nanti sama Pak Lukman ya. Oke, kita mulai Bapak Ibu ya mengolah data dengan SPSS ya. Bapak Ibu silahkan buka kuesionernya juga yang udah saya share di chat ya. Jadi sudah terbaca dimensinya apa, kemudian juga yang Excel juga sudah ada di chat ya, supaya kita bisa proses. Hah? Yang ini karena data setnya Rekha kan bahasa Inggris. Jadi saya share-nya nih.
Pardon?
I mean your data is from the questionnaire in English, not in Bahasa.
No, it is English.
Yeah.
It's in English.
Jadi I already sent.
It is, the
This has been
data
translated.
is exactly from the presentation I made yesterday afternoon about CEC. So whatever was the result on my CEC presentation yesterday, we should get same results today. When I talked about high reliabilities, we should be getting high reliabilities today.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, since I have saved this, so I'll stop share this one. I don't know, let me go onto this here. I'm unable to. Let it open and then I'll share this screen.
Jadi ini filenya juga Bapak Ibu kemarin kan ada PowerPoint yang CAC validation juga gitu ya. Jadi maksudnya kalau mau baca-baca lagi nih saya share lagi buat ini ada semua ada di drive filenya.
Can you send me the SPSS link you sent to these people? Somehow my computer is not letting me start SPSS here.
Yeah, but I use the trial right now. Pardon? I use the trial.
Doesn't matter, I'll use the same because they're all, I don't know why, maybe there's.
You can open the chat, the WhatsApp. Aja sampingnya Rekha karena kan komputernya satu apa gunain di Indonesia kan? He is like probably using the SPSS in this online at Curtin and then something like that. So what thank you. Because for everyone else, is it okay for me to have you open it? I'll pull then close jadi mau upload file baru lagi because everyone has jadi so you open from the start you don't have to start and paste. So what is it saved on desktop? There's a large amount of so what I'm doing, closing everything. Okay, this one. Oh, sorry. Sorry, everyone. Yes, we should be moving soon. So what I'm going to do is. Iya, Bapak yang memuji udah paham kan yang SPS?
All of you on your desktop, on the search button, say SPSS and search.
Rekha, can you set your screen?
Just once we open, should we? Okay. Because
On the Zoom. Yeah. Yeah. Set your screen.
so which one are we sharing? That's what I'm.
This one, yeah. That's it. This one.
So when we go on to search and put SPSS there, SPSS opens. Is your SPSS opening? Ask the people on Zoom.
Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom SPSS-nya sudah sudah running?
It will take a
Sudah,
while.
sudah Bu Yuli.
They have it. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Kasih.
Sama-sama.
Say like makasih Pak, and what makasih terima kasih. So I should learn the good bahasa Indonesia.
Is Rekha, they're going to teach you?
Yeah, so please continue, Rekha.
Yes. What is
Close.
Where is the close button here? Yeah. Now, first of all, I will go into the data view, and it's an open file. You can have, my dear friend had copied and pasted it from Excel. Keeping in view, this file had nearly 600 items, 600 respondents, but at times you can have files with thousands, 10,000, 90,000. It becomes difficult to copy paste. So what you can do file, open, a file, import data. Do we have, it's not working. Do we have a mouse for this?
You want to mouse?
If it-
Pamuji ada mouse-nya nggak?
It's okay. Because this is not working. This is not working. I'm so sorry, my SPSS didn't work.
Kayaknya
Kurt,
deteksi dari Indonesia. Jadi dia nggak terima. Dia kan SPSS kan license Curtin.
they didn't allow me to open it.
Juga pakai itu waktu saya balik.
So we go to, it's not working, yeah?
Pamuji ini new, isn't it?
No, import data. Okay, that's not. File,
Import data. Jadi file
Excel.
import data Excel. Terus Pamuji, where is your
So
file?
go on to the, let
Desktop.
me go. Yeah, desktop. Excel, yes.
Seems to be. Pamuji, filenya ada di mana? Dokumen. Mana ya? Dokumen mana?
Iya,
Ini.
di bawahnya.
Hah?
Tadi dokumen enggak ada ya?
Nggak ada. Ini open kan, open. So I think much better you put on the desktop.
Jadi
That's-
daftar.
Dokumen, terus which one? Data LER,
Iya,
data LER,
iya betul.
Yeah,
move to desktop ya. Okay, then. And then it is open
file,
and
open,
file. Sorry. File.
file,
Import data ya Bapak Ibu, import data Excel, terus cari di desktop, masukin CEC, open.
open.
Nanti
And it will take a while and it will open. Yeah, it will take time.
you can, or I move the one on the bottom ya. So it will be not disrupt you so much.
Mhm. But it's still not. Oh.
Not this one.
No, that's fine, but where is?
That one.
Yeah,
Ini
but
filenya ini di mana ya?
I would say okay, but it's not working. Desktop.
Excel. Open SCSS. Open.
There was somewhere okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah, it's open. Finally.
Because it's not our computer.
Have you been able to open the Excel file in anyone who hasn't been able to open Excel file in SPSS? You did? No. When you open SPSS, have you opened SPSS? Go to File, Import Data, and then you have your Excel file on the desktop. Say Desktop, go to Desktop, Excel, and
It's
you'll have the
okay.
CEC file. Let me run around.
Yeah. Bantuin Arifah, bisa ya? Jadi buka SPSS, terus open file, import data. No, he is expert, Rekha. Expert. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom sudah dapat file ini? Sudah bisa masuk ke SPSS-nya?
Sudah, Bu.
Sudah ya?
Ya, Bu Yuli.
Nah, yang sambil buka-buka kuesionernya, jadi nanti ada dimensi kayak gini nih. Dimensi care, ya, dimensi care kalau kita skala atau dimensi ada, berarti ada dari care yang 1 sampai yang 10 ini satu dimensi gitu. Nanti ini udah jadi sama mereka diubah namanya.
Ya, sudah terlihat di variable view-nya, Bu Yuli.
Ya, oke, good.
Bu Yuli,
Ya,
itu jenis datanya nominal Bu, yang care 1, care 2 gitu. Kan tidak bisa di rata-rata nanti.
tidak bisa di rata-rata gimana?
Jenis datanya, jenis data. Bukan skala.
Ini yang 1, 5.
Iya, bukan skala. Yang 5, 4 itu. Care 1, care 2
Ini kan
nanti.
kuesionernya bentuknya skalanya 1 sampai 5. Nah,
Iya.
kalau gender saya nggak tahu nih, Rekha gender 1 female apa male nih. Tapi kalau yang care ini bisa
Itu
Pak
kan,
rata-rata, kenapa nggak bisa?
kalau di situ kan itu jenisnya kan nominal itu gambarnya.
Gimana maksudnya kalau
Di skalanya.
Di variable view-nya.
Variable view-nya Bu. Itu kan masih nominal tuh. Nominal kan tidak bisa dibuat sekali,
ya,
dibuat rata-rata kalau secara statistik. Di variable view-nya Bu, care 1, care 2 itu.
Harus ngedit ulang itu Pak kayaknya.
Di variable view aja diubah.
Ya, nanti ini belum, ini baru masukin data dulu nih.
Langsung skala aja Bu, skala.
Belum Pak, baru masuk ini, baru masuk.
Ya,
Baru masuk.
tunggu sebentar Bapak, ini masih proses masukin Excel kayaknya.
Mangga. Ya karena kalau mau nominal kan nggak mungkin pakai rata-rata kan gitu, pakai frekuensi.
Iya, nanti harus diubah dulu secara manual.
baru pindahin data aja ini ada ini. Baru pindah data Excel ke SPSS. Yeah, they have to do the trial, isn't it?
I can just run the step.
Kenapa ya?
I know.
Gak apa-apa, pasangan-pasangan aja. Kami lihat. It is okay, they can do it together. Emang nggak bisa kalau trial?
This trial can. This group has. You have it.
Harusnya bisa kalau
This
trial.
guy has. That's only. He has it.
Ya,
and this
ya. Ini yang grup ini ada nggak? Ada, oke ada. Berarti Nina juga ada grupnya kan? Gabung aja yang nggak ada. Adit ya? Adit gabung aja. Sambil lihat. Oke, Rekha. Itu mereka kan mau download SPSS. Dia kemarin ngasih terus minta ID, nggak bisa ya? SPSS download. Ngerti nggak ini? Sambil jalan aja kalau ada. Iya, Rekha ikan khusus. Dia ask about the variable nominal.
Ya, bisa bantu ke sini kan Pak. Pak ini kan kawan-kawan udah dapat. Oh, apa sih maksudnya? Paling minimal dari Excel import ke Excel. Baru dari data. Ini nggak bisa Pak.
Nggak mau. Ya udah duduk dekat Pak Lukman aja situ. Sabrina, Pak Lukman agak ke tengah kali biar ada space.
Let's resort to working in groups and move on. Those of you who don't have SPSS can look at even the Excel file, what we have it as coded as code, which we will not look at today, but we have gender, and then we have items of care. I better put this up. Items of challenge, motivation, consultation, consolidation, collaboration, and attitude. 10 scales of attitude. So the first thing is when you have a questionnaire, in that questionnaire you have different questions. But when I reported on results, I didn't report on questions, I reported on whole scale. So what we need to do, first we need to create a scale, right? And for that, we will again go to data. Why has that? What happened?
What do you want?
Hmm.
Data view variable.
No, I'm fine. We'll go to data. It is create.
Ini SPSS versi berapa?
No, that's fine. That's fine. No. That's fine. No, it's data. Mm. Transform. Transform. Compute variable. Compute variable, which is at the top. And what we do, we take.
Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom bisa kliknya tadi
Bisa.
transform ya. Biasa kan ya?
And
Terus
transform.
compute.
And then we will go to here, statistical. Function group, you'll have statistical and mean at the bottom. Right?
Iya.
Once
Pelan-pelan,
again,
Bapak
Miss.
Ibu, jadi transform,
Oke. Compute.
terus masuk ke yang function groupnya, pilih yang statistical. Setelah statistical, pilih mean.
Oh yes, ya. Oke.
Terus klik yang ada tanda panah itu, klik
Statistical mean,
And then have
min,
this
min atau sorry,
take it
Prof.
up.
Rata-rata atau minimal maksudnya itu min itu.
Min-minnya itu.
Mean, Pak. Mean, rata-rata.
Mian. Oke, itu maksud saya. Oke, terima kasih.
Iya, min terus ya let's continue.
And then in the target variable, you will write the name of the variable and keeping in view its scale of care. I wrote care.
Nah, Bapak Ibu, kan yang dimensi yang pertama, variabel yang pertama, skala yang pertama itu care ya. Jadi tulis care di target variabel.
This is the most difficult part of setting your file. After once your file is set, it becomes very, very, very easy. So you will transfer one question at a time in the numeric expression, which is care 1. And then I move it like this. Every item has to be separated by a comma. I put a comma and remove the question mark.
Oke, Bapak Ibu ngerti ya? Itu yang care dimasukkan, care-nya diklik, kemudian ada tanda panah ke atas kan, klik. Nah, antar variabel itu ada tanda koma, care 1, care 2, care 3, sampai berapa ya?
Yeah.
Where is care 7?
Oke, 1 sampai dengan seterusnya. Sampai ini ya.
If you remember yesterday, I told you we had 8 items in first, some scales or some scales had 10 items. When we validated only those questions which figured in the factor analysis are in this file, others were taken out.
Oke. Jadi tadinya dimensi care itu ada 10 item, tapi setelah divalidasi drop. Jadi tinggal berapa tuh? 7, 6 ya? Tinggal 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Jadi ada 6, care 1, care 2, care 3, care 5, care 7, care 10 yang dimasukkan ya Bapak Ibu ya rata-rata.
If you remember, I did say all scales had 6 items, other than one had only 5, which is control. Okay, so I press. Have you transferred all 6 in the numeric expression? This group, have you? And
Bapak,
then
Ibu,
you
udah ya.
press OK.
Setelah itu kan di atas ada minnya. Apa tuh? There is a comma, Rekha. Comma after 5.
Yes. It's missing and it didn't let me create. Now, if I look at this file. On this end, towards the end, a variable of care has been created.
Nanti Bapak pas dilihat di Bapak Ibu yang di data di akhir ujung kotaknya itu udah dapat rata-rata ya. Rata-rata untuk dimensi care aja, baru satu dimensi.
Now, same way we will create other variables. And to be easy, I don't need to, I can get rid of these and call it control.
Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom bisa ngikutin?
Bisa, Prof.
Bisa, Prof.
Kan care dulu, terus sekarang kontrol ya, variabel yang kedua. Cari rata-rata variabel yang kedua, yang kontrol.
Ternyata Pak ini nomornya warna kuning.
It had a 5. I don't know where is the control.
Sedikit, Prof. Ini di SPSS saya tidak muncul apa namanya peringatan untuk OK-nya.
Tidak muncul, wait, Rekha, there is question.
Tanda tanyanya dihilangkan, Pak. Tanda tanyanya dihilangkan.
Sudah, tapi tidak ini. Belum muncul juga, udah saya hilangkan tadi.
Apanya Pak Yuyun? Kalau enggak ulang lagi.
Same way I will do for other.
Lanjut aja, Prof.
Ya, intinya kita ngitung rata-rata. Rata-rata di setiap dimensi begitu ya. Motivation is only one.
No, we have others as well following. Go from between the errors here.
Oke, sekarang yang variabel ketiga ya, tadi care, kemudian apa tadi? Kontrol. Sekarang motivation. Ambil yang kodenya motivation untuk dihitung rata-ratanya, dipindahin ke atas. Masuknya tuh pakai panah, tanda panah yang itu ya.
You know, when I work Juli knows it.
Pakai koma ya. Motivasi. Rekha, I think motivation one with there is no comma deh.
Motivation masih ada di bawah, Bu.
Ya, motivasi motivasi. It is already all the motivation or not?
Yeah, all the motivation here.
Bapak Ibu hasilnya sama nggak? Kalau kita mungkin kalau ada yang kelewat. Jadi ini rata-rata motivasi itu ada sampai yang di bawah ya. Jadi motivasi 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oke, kita pindah ke selanjutnya, clarity, dimensi clarity.
Just an example for all of us, but when you have your data, you can work with this. Clarity.
Bapak Ibu, udah yang online udah sampai clarity?
Sudah, Bu.
Ikut jagoan yang di online nih kayaknya. Saya juga buka-buka SPSS lagi nih Bapak Ibu. Udah lama. Sekarang kita yang udah ngerti berarti silakan pindah aja. Ini kan ada clarity, ada challenge ya, ada motivasi. Kita masih hitung rata-rata.
Challenge we are going to make motivation. No, we did motivation, sorry.
Consultation. Rekha,
It's fun.
Kenapa?
What we did in our study, we merged the consultation and consolidation. And that's why we have only one of that scale.
Di bawahnya.
You did it in the beginning. Consultation. Now we go to collaborate.
Adit, bisa nggak, Adit? Pelajaran statistik harusnya bisa.
Izin Prof, itu motivationnya cuma satu ya?
Di bawah Pak.
Cuma satu ya? Satu variabel ya?
Online, nggak offline, semuanya menanyakan motivation cuma satu. Motivationnya ada di bawahnya lagi. Nah, motivation 1, 3, 5, 7 kalau nggak salah. Apa Yun ke bawah lagi?
Yuli yang consultation sama consultation cuma satu ya?
Consultation, Rekha,
Soalnya-
consultation item.
Ada Iya, konsultasinya cuma satu ya?
Consultation and consolidation will be together
Oh,
Oke.
as consultation because if you remember yesterday, I said that two scales were merged into one. That's what our factor analysis showed,
so the name will be consolidation.
either or,
Oh,
okay?
jadi consultation sama consolidation jadi satu ya. Kita namain aja yang banyak berarti consolidation.
Baik, Bu.
And items of attitude. Because this was from a pre-validated document. And even in this time when we did pattern analysis, everything. I double click it automatically. Okay. I better get rid of this. And now, for everyone, if you have created scales, you can look at the screen. I have created a scale of care, a scale of control, motivation, clarity, challenge, consultation, collaboration, and attitude. No matter what the number of items in each scale are, because sometimes what happens that one scale has 10 items and other scale has 5, that if we don't keep mean, the scale with higher number will show you bigger numbers. You want to tell them? Because it is not only for this set, any set, you can have 5 items in care, which we have this time, and we have 10 items in attitude. If I take the sum, here the sum can be 20, and here the sum can be 10, you will feel that students have lesser care. But if we know these are comparable, that's
Yeah.
why we take mean.
Iya, Bapak Ibu, jadi kan jumlah item per skala beda-beda ya. Yang ini beda-beda. Kalau kita kadang di Indonesia bikinnya harus sama gitu ya, tapi ini nggak apa-apa sebenarnya ya. Ini beda-beda, kemudian kita udah dapat minnya ya. Mudah-mudahan Bapak Ibu udah sampai attitude ya. Oh, they still working on it, Rekha. So
Okay,
just
let
wait.
them.
Yeah.
Yes, let them play.
Yeah.
It's good learning.
Ya.
Ya.
Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom udah dapat semua minnya sampai attitude?
Yes.
Sudah, Prof.
Ya, sip. Yang
Sedang Prof, sedang ini masih ini dulu.
masih ngitung ya. Oke, silakan. Ana atau Muhibah mungkin bisa share daftar hadirnya ya di Zoom ya. Bapak Ibu yang lain yang mungkin belum bisa hands on SPSS, ya paling tidak ini perhitungan pertama kita baru menghitung min ya. Ya. Consultation digabung sama consolidation ya, jadi satu
Oh,
ya.
consultation digabung consolidation
Ya,
ya.
dijadikan satu
Oh,
ya.
baik. Baik, terima kasih.
Boleh mau pakai kata consultation atau consolidation ini karena proses waktu itu proses validasi ada yang tersisa cuma satu, jadi dia digabung. Digabung karena faktor analisisnya kan sama satu bagian. Ridwan keep asking me he would like to take you to have lunch or dinner, or I told him tomorrow we will go, and then he would like to have a dinner with Rekha. It should be tonight, and there is no time anymore. But that's it. I feel the same. Udah. Ini udah. Oke, Bapak Ibu, kita lanjut lagi ya.
Lanjut, Prof.
Yun udah. Udah ya. Oke, kita lanjut. Min-nya jadi ada dimensinya kita lihat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Jadi ada 8 rata-rata ya, ada 8 dimensi ya. Oke, Rekha, you can continue.
Yes. Now what I can say that your file is set and it's only click of button. You know where to click.
Suaranya tidak jelas.
Oh yes,
It's only click of button. Now we are ready to analyze the data we have. Normally, I would, before doing this, I would do factor analysis. But keeping in view, we are not doing factor analysis with you today, and this file has already been done. We will go to analyze. We'll go to descriptive analysis and then to descriptives. We won't look at the items, we will only look at the scales. I am doing all at one time and transferring them into the variables. You can do one at a time, you can do all together, highlight them and put them all together.
Ini semuanya dimasukkan ya, Prof? Variabelnya,
Ya.
dimensinya.
Ya, jadi yang dimensinya, Rekha, can you repeat?
You can, with the, now that we have set up scales, this was my, okay, let me go from once again. Analyze.
Analyze ya, Bapak Ibu.
Descriptive
Descriptive
statistics.
statistic.
Descriptive.
Deskriptif lagi.
We won't look at the
Terus
items.
yang bawah tadi, yang rata-rata yang
Instead,
itu.
we will go to the scales you have created and transfer them one at a time into variable section. Once you become experts in it, you can transfer all the scales at one time by highlighting and then.
Okay.
Here you have options. We have mean, standard deviation, variable, variance, range, minimum, maximum, kurtosis, skiveness, whatever you want, you can click it and it will, do that. But I will only go with mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, and variable list. It depends on you, variable list you want in ascending, descending, or alphabetic manner. I am going with the way my variable list is in the file. I have care first, it will show me care first. But if I want it to show me the scale which has highest mean, it will show me like that. The scale which has lowest mean, then I press descending. Okay? Yeah, it has all those, capabilities. So I press OK. Now, here is, it
Bapak Ibu
is.
setelah proses oke, Bapak Ibu bisa dapat hasilnya deskriptifnya ya. Standar deviasi, kemudian rata-rata di setiap dimensi. Nah ini biasanya kita melakukan ini untuk yang biasa yang translate ya. Instrumennya kita translate terus kita pakai. Yeah,
you have minimum, maximum, number of students in here, and mean and standard deviation. Now, before we do reliability, we'll do reliability later. We'll do some more easier tests. We will go to analyze and we will do correlate, because you always want to look at the correlation. And if you can do correlation here, you can do correlation in other data sets as well. Bivariate.
Dikasih tahu apa aja tadi? Tadi apa tadi? Variabel ya?
Korelasi ya, analisis, korelasi, bivariat.
Analisis, korelasi, kemudian bivariate correlation ya, Bapak Ibu.
Siap, siap.
Bukan lagi rata-rata yang ini.
Yeah, yeah. It is all when you go to analyze and then look at there what you want to have. I'll go there as well. You have different types of correlations. You have Pearsons, Kindles, and Spearmans. Generally, we do Pearsons and we look at two-tailed and I am asking the correlations which are significant, flag them. It will show us the correlations which are significant. I have the choice of not seeing that, but we will ask it to show us correlations which are statistically significant. And then I press OK.
Because they're more steep.
Now, if you look at it, what's important about correlation, keeping in view the correlation between care and care will be only one, right? If I am correlating care and care, it will be one. Control and control will also be one. So this half of table is exactly mirror image of this half of table. This side is one half, this half is repeated here. Yeah. And click, okay. Now, other bit, if you look at the significance level, all scales are statistically significant at 0.01 level. It would have said here.
Bapak Ibu, udah ada yang sampai sini. Ini korelasi antar variabelnya ya. Jadi
Ya, sudah.
pakai 0,01, nanti itu ada titik 2 ya. Titik 2 itu berarti signifikan.
If you are reporting correlations in your data, don't replace the whole table, only go for one half, because other half is the similar of this half.
Jadi kalau buat publikasi nanti yang bagian atas aja, yang bawahnya kan nggak usah, nggak dipakai ya, sama aja datanya kan.
Now I'll show you one more small thing. We will do compare means. Compare means.
Oke, kita pindah ke compare means ya. Analyze, compare means,
independent sample
t,
and grouping variable we are taking as gender. If you have to look at gender differences, which I talked about yesterday, gender, female and males. define groups 1 and 2, continue. And okay. Now, yang kelima apa tuh, Pak?
Wait Rekha.
Maaf ya.
Yang kelima bisa yang independent sample test.
Itu dimasukkan yang sama yang rata-rata ya, Prof ya.
Yang dimasukkan yang rata-rata juga.
Oke, siap.
Jadi yang kelima itu analyze juga ya, Rekha. Could you please repeat? Analyze.
Compare
Temper means ya. Kemudian independent
sample
sample t-test.
I'm again doing the same thing, but what you will need here, when you put gender as the grouping variable, click on gender.
Yeah.
And then define groups, which is 1 and 2, and then press OK. Did you get it? People online?
Done, Prof.
We have Juli.
I plan to have a break at 10:30, so another 15 minutes for break.
Okay, we'll do reliability.
Yeah, reliability.
Now, if you look at the gender table, you have the means, you have the number of people in group 1 and group 2, which is males, 1 is female and 2 is males. We can set up file where it won't show us as 1 and 2. I haven't done that. We can do that. And then it shows us how many females, how many males, what is the mean for females, what's the mean for males, and standard deviation. More so, we always want to see whether these differences are statistically significant or not. You can look at the F values, and any value less than 0.05 is statistically significant. That means challenge is statistically significant, clarity is statistically significant, and care is statistically significant. And it's based on Levin's test of equality. Any questions so far?
Bapak Ibu gimana?
Itu sedikit, Prof. Apa namanya? Ini kan pada level test of equality variance itu kan ada nilai signifikansinya 0,163, kemudian 0,045. Nah, kemudian di collaboration 1,09 ya. Consolidation 0,143. Itu kan kalau dibandingkan dengan kriteria 0,05 itu kan berarti dia itu tidak signifikan ya, Prof. Apa tidak normal gitu? Apa tidak homogen gitu maksudnya?
Yes. Tell me the question. Yeah, not homogen. Yeah, a collaboration, the difference between males and females is not statistically significant. If you look at the F values, larger the F value, more, statistically significant it will be. Like if I look at control, the difference between F value between males and females is not very high. So the significance level is low. While as for motivation between males and females, it's higher, and this is significant. So the significance level here should be less than 0.05. Any result less than 0.05 is statistically significant. And in these scales, we have statistically significant difference between males and females for the scale of care, for the scale of motivation, for the scale of clarity, challenge, and last is for attitude. Attitude is really very significant. There is clear difference between males and females, and the F value is 14 and above. Does that answer your question, dear?
Pak Yuyun, udah ya Pak?
Oke, sudah Pak.
Ini memang nanti hasilnya dianalisis yang kalau gender dia nggak sih biasanya hasilnya commonnya gitu, yang gender tuh nggak signifikan differences. Nah itu di bagian item apa tadi, consolidation ya? Apa collaboration?
Collaboration is not statistically significant. No.
Itu Pak.
Okay. Now from here, would you like to take a look at the reliability? Are we done?
Dan Miss.
Ya.
Pardon?
The significant under 0.
0.5. No, 0.05. 0.05. Anything less than 0.05 is statistically significant.
Yang di bawah itu signifikan. Nanti kalau ada yang, iya ada satu yang enggak. Jadi yang lain, jadi laki-laki dan perempuan ada bedanya apa enggak gitu persepsinya gitu. Karena kan kita ada ngomongin gender. Nanti kalau Bapak Ibu punya data kelas, kelas. Kalau punya data sekolah, sekolah bisa gitu.
Oke.
0.05 significant or not. Kan Anda
0.05 is significant.
ya apa tandanya tuh sama dengan gitu.
Ya. Ya. Yeah. Okay,
kita pindah lagi Bapak Ibu sebelum break.
Can I help here? Do you have any questions here?
Nanti Bapak Ibu nanti kalau baca artikelnya bisa ini ya, analisisnya gimana?
You want to do reliability analysis?
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, we go to analyze. Go to scale. Again, analyze, scale, reliability, and then what I will do all together, move the scale items of care here and give it the name of care. Okay, I have choice of item, scale, correlations, means, variance. I'm only asking for the reliability analysis. So I say, okay. And if you look at it, it's giving me the alpha Cronbach of 0.925. So I wasn't lying yesterday when I showed you my presentation. Very high reliability. Again, yes, analyze, scale, reliability. What I did, let me do it again. Move them here. So I highlighted the scales of care, put them in items.
Just one more, Rekha. Care number 10.
Pardon?
Care
Oh,
number 10.
Kirtan, I missed it. And gave it the name of scale label, because if we don't label it, it will still come out, but then it will be difficult for you to identify what it was. And okay, it's gone higher with item 10. And it has a high reliability of 0.93. As far as reliability is concerned, scales above 0.6 is considered to be reliable because we have quite a bit of literature around it.
Oke, Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom bisa?
Bisa.
hitung
Berarti
aja
ini
satu-satu
masing-masing
ya.
per dimensi ya, Prof ya?
Prof. Per dimensi, reliabilitas per dimensi. Supaya kita tahu mana yang tinggi rendah biasanya. Oke, yang scale ya.
I would like you to do for control the same thing and tell me what is your result for control. Can someone do for control, please?
Ya, kontrol berapa dapat reliabilitasnya? Angkanya
Tell me
apa
what is the
Cronbachnya?
score.
Yang kontrol. Pindahin.
Nol 0,867, Prof.
Rekha on the Zoom get it 0.867.
67.
Yeah, benar Pak Yun. Ya, lanjutkan silakan. Ayo silakan next skala selanjutnya.
Sabrina on the stage.
Motivation tuh agak ke bawah ya.
Let's do motivation.
Nah, jangan lupa bawahnya diubah ininya ya, scale labelnya.
Let me check. 9.9. Could be, but it's okay. 0.94 and 0.939 is close to 0.94. I don't know what has happened. Now,
Atau Rekha,
and same way you can do for others.
Number 10 motivation, number 9 ya. The last motivation number
9.
ada yang ketinggalan kali. Ya.
Yeah, that's what it was. Same way you can do for other scales like clarity, challenge. Let's do for attitude only now, because most other things we have done. Attitude. Anyone online? Anyone online doing reliability for attitude?
Attitude 0,978, 978.
Wonderful. So now all of you are experts in analyzing data. If Woo! So this is what you will be doing. What I would ask you to do is play around with this data. You have access to 3 data files. There are lots of lectures on doing analysis in YouTube. That's where I learned from. I'm not a statistician, but I learned analysis from YouTube generally. Just play around, and if you have any questions with any specific analysis, ask me, because I do complex analysis, but I just wanted to show you the simple ones. Once you have expertise in simple analysis, you can jump on to, you will get that confidence and you will start trying more complex one as well. It is not difficult. It is very, very easy. The only thing is you got to set the data file well and then work on it. Thank you. Yeah, Yuli, you can
Yeah.
take over from there.
Bapak Ibu, kita break dulu 15 menit ya. Jadi so all the analysis are done until reliability. Ya, jadi ini biasanya kalau kita pakai instrumennya kita translate, kemudian analisisnya ini aja yang dipakai buat publikasi. Ya, jadi nanti Bapak Ibu kita break dulu ya 15 menit sampai jam berapa tuh ya, jam 10.50 ya kalau 15 menit ya. 10.45 begitu ya Bapak Ibu, nanti kita lanjutkan lagi. Mungkin nanti entah publikasi, entah kita membaca analisis datanya begitu. Silakan yang Bapak Ibu yang offline silakan teh kopi, kemudian itu ada tim dari Australia, katanya enak gitu ya. Double chocolate, coklatnya beda, jadi silakan dicoba di sana. Silakan, terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Bapak Ibu, kita mulai lagi ya. Yang di Zoom udah siap ya? What? Yeah. Pak Muji, udah laptopnya. Bu Heni, oke. Bu Irma, tapi SPSS-nya nggak ke ini ya. Apa kita bahas lanjutannya ya, Bu? Suaranya terdengar yang di Zoom?
Terdengar, Bu. Terdengar.
Terdengar, oke. Baik. Kita mulai ya. No, they're just ready.
Everyone on Zoom, thank you for waiting. Everyone on Zoom, thank you for waiting. And I'm really missing you because we are having good treats provided by Yuli. And you're missing out on that. Sorry. But let's move ahead now as we are going. So, are we ready to start? And people on Zoom, can anyone give me, go ahead?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So, what have we been doing since yesterday? Very little about qualitative data, but we have been talking more and more and more about the quantitative way of doing research. That's how learning environment research started. And what learning environment research did, they developed and validated survey tools. As you would remember in session 2, I talked about many research tools. This morning as well, we looked at the data collected using CEC, classroom emotional climate, and we analyzed that data. So there are always questions we do get asked. What do these survey tools do and how can we make sense of the data? Now, I would expect that you have become experts now that you have done the data analysis, you have learned it. But what do these survey tools do? I could have done this session earlier and then gone in for analysis. I thought, let you develop the understanding of what data analysis is, how we do it, how we get it. And this session will give you an opportunity to reflect on what we did this morning. And I would expect many questions coming from you, from both groups, the group which is here and the group which is online working with me here. So what I will talk about, as I said, we did only talked about the quantitative data. And in this quantitative data, we when they ask about the perception of the students, my teacher cares for me. And if a teacher may be thinking that I do care and student thinks that teacher doesn't care, we are only looking at the student perception. So I will look at, there is a lot of criticism, not now, but in early 2000, there was a lot of criticism around the perceptual data. It's looking at humans as numbers, because we say one participant, 10 participants, and how can we make sense of it? And we can, but we have statistics which tells us the reliability of the learning environments or the field of learning environment. So we then moving on from there, we will even look at the research areas of interest, where you can choose a questionnaire for your interest. And maybe can we use it as case study? Can it be a case study of your school? I can tell you there is a lot of difference between the two schools. How can we compare these data? Why not we look at them as case studies? When, if I haven't forgotten, when Yuli did her PhD study, she did it in 3 schools. 3 schools which would look like similar, but had their own differences. And she considered each school as a case study. Am I right, Yuli? And one of the schools was Islamic school in Perth. In Perth, we have quite a few Islamic schools. She went to one of the Islamic schools, and the learning for me was, for me, I would take an Islamic school as one cohort. But there were so much cultural differences there in the students, because the students were Muslims by their faith, but they were coming from different parts of the world. And could we take it, taking it as a case study was only on the basis of their faith or what was happening in that school. But if I wanted to look at the cultural differences, there were so many differences, because student coming from Egypt could not relate to the practices brought by an Indonesian student. Their dress is different, their food is different, their language is different, their living practices are different. It's only faith which was binding them. And same happens in other parts of the world as well. So what happens is, when we do research, certain ideas which we have taken for granted, first time is challenged. First time when Yuli came to me and said, Rekha, there's a lot of cultural difference in this school. I said, what cultural difference? You're going to this school? She said, no. I said, oh yeah, I had not thought about it. So that's why research is important, to know the case you are working with. That's the only way you will come to know about it. So what happened when we developed these questionnaires, for quick feedback, even the short forms of the questionnaire were developed. As we talked about QTI yesterday. QTI started with 100 over items, reduced to 84, 84 reduced to 48, no, 78, 78 reduced to 48, and 48 reduced to 24. Since yesterday, we have been talking about CEC, which is classroom emotional climate. Classroom emotional climate, someone may raise their hand, a student of mine, and validate a shorter version further. Although the CEC we have developed is not very long, but those shorter versions are very helpful for teachers, because students don't get bored. They give them feedback fast, and teacher can make sense of what is happening in their class. Sometimes we also develop class versus personal forms. What we did in CEC, when 7C's questionnaire, on the basis of which CEC was developed, that was from class perspective. Like in this class, we are taken care by the teacher. Instead, what we did is my teacher takes care of me. So it is personal opinion, then the class opinion. You can have data on both. And what happens is there, when it is class version, it is students can find help with each other. The other version which was developed was actual and preferred. Actual version is what happens in this class, which is students' perception, and what would you prefer to have in this class. And research has shown that generally there is more preferred than what actually is happening in the classroom. I might have a, yeah. So we use these forms is because they are economical than employing training assistants needed for observational methods. If I would have done CEC, which was data was collected from 56 classrooms, I needed at least 20 to 30 people who would observe the classrooms over a period of time and give me data. But this data was, we only created a link, sent it to the teachers. Teachers gave access to their students, and we got data within days. It was very, very economical and getting perception of large number of students. It's not possible for researchers to go for, if we want overview of a larger community. Yes, qualitative data, when we do qualitative research, it's done with very, very small population. And sometimes the perceptual data, students can talk about their perception over a year, over a few months, or over a few weeks. But when we send observers, observers can go for a few days. So you will get a data for a longer period. And you do get, in perceptual data, we get data of the whole class. But if I do interview, I can do interview with few students, 4 students, 3 students. And it's when we, we talk a lot about constructivism. In constructivism, we always say that we should take students' opinion into view. In perceptual data, the survey data is a way of constructivism, because you are taking students' opinions into view. And people make, those who don't believe in quantitative data, they may continue criticizing it. But perceptual data is a real form of constructivism. And when we take student perceptions into account, they have shown more variance in learning outcomes than observed behavior. Observed behavior doesn't show us that variance. We won't be able to do the analysis you did right now with the observed data. So there are quite a few benefits of getting the perceptual data, and main one is it is very, very economical, and you can target a larger population, which is impossible in if you do observations or interviews. What are the shortcomings? And as a user of quantitative research, I should be aware of the shortcomings, which are, if student says that my teacher doesn't care for me, I have no way of asking that student, explain, how do you say that? Or teacher loves me. I have no way. And it only responds to the questions which I have in the survey tool. I have no way of asking a leading question. A student says, teacher cares for me. How? That's what I would do in an interview. And at the same time, it can't examine all aspects of and influences of environment, because if we start doing that, it will really make the questionnaire very, very long. So we have to be specific with our research questions, what we are going to measure based on research questions. Then we set up the scales or choose the scales from pre-existing data, tools, and go ahead with it. But if I'm going in for an observational data, it depends where I can go, I can move. And it may not provide information about an individual in a group or a class. Like the CEC data yesterday I provided, we de-identified the data very fast. We could not break the data on class level or student level because that was one of the ethics requirement. If we have that sort of data, it will be very difficult for me to see who has not liked the class and then go and talk to that person. Why? Any questions from the Zoom group? Yeah, there's a lot of chatter there. Any questions from the Zoom group?
Silakan teman-teman yang gabung di bila ingin mengajukan pertanyaan, silakan mengangkat tangan.
Ya tadi kemudian days, months, time, tujuh.
Kayaknya dia ada yang mau
8 materi.
Oke, silakan Bapak Ibu.
Apa tadi?
Sepertinya belum ada.
Baik. Can I ask you questions?
Yes. Because I felt there was a lot of chatter, so there would be some confusion. It is the previous. The previous discussion on SBSS. Yeah, I Hello. Hello. Yeah.
You, it is.
Hello. Yeah. Oh, it's muted here. Hello. Yes. No, it's muted. It's muted. Oh, yeah,
Yes. Yes.
So whenever you do your research, you will be developing a questionnaire, but you don't have to develop a questionnaire because there are already pre-existing questionnaire. You can pick and choose the scales you want for your, research. And these scales should be based on the literature, based on experience, and can be selected because of the importance or significance shown in past research. Means a scale which has high reliability, has given good results to past researchers, you can look into that. When selecting a scale, ensure that all items are included, because if you start cutting down on the items, that may impede on the reliability of that scale. And if you're wanting to develop your own scale, it should be based on literature. Look at the existing literature. Include more items. If you would have seen when I did presentation about CEC yesterday, we had more items. And then when we did the factor analysis, lots of items fell down. We had nearly 10 items in each scale, and then it was reduced to between 6 to 5 each. And every scale should be different. It should measure something quite different to other scales. Like in our case, we had consolidation and consultation, which eventually merged, because when we did factor analysis, they figured in only one group. So that's what happened. That's how you will be developing a questionnaire and the questionnaire scales. For construct validity, we did do reliability, but when you report a questionnaire, they will ask you to report on the validity of the questionnaire. So you will be required to do construct validity, which is generally the translational validity and criterion validity. For translation validity, it is the language correct? What is in the question? Is student transcribing it in the same way? And sometimes what happens, when I did my PhD, I used to go to classrooms and talk about the questions. And what does this question mean? Similarly, it happened in some time back. I was doing some research in primary schools, and one of the schools I went to was, it was a experimental school. And the question in QTI primary is, my teacher is strict. No. My teacher punishes us. Okay. In this is a year 5-6 class. Many students had no idea about what punishment is, because that word was not used in the classroom. And what they said was, if we do something wrong, my teacher punishes me if I do something wrong. And they said, yes, if I do something wrong, there are consequences, but these children came to me and said, what does punishment mean? So these are children who were born and brought up in Australia. Their first language is English, but could not understand the word. Same can happen. So the language of each question is very important. And sometimes it's very important for us to maybe explain it to children. And that's what, again, face validity is. That items of a construct are able to reflect clearly the theoretical construct, what we really want to know from the question. And for face validity, what we generally do is we show this questionnaire to some experts in the field. I have few learning environment researchers and non-learning environment researchers, senior researchers. Once I develop a questionnaire, I'll take it to them and ask them to check the questions. Do they make sense? And for criterion validity, we do convergent, discriminate, concurrent, and predictive validity, which are all statistical procedures. We haven't gone into that today, but once you develop expertise with the basic analysis, you can do that. Maybe the next workshop we can do around that. Or you can play around with it and tell me what have you found. Translational validity, as I talked about, we look at the content and face validity. And for construct validity, it's the same, again repeated for some reason. For convergent validity, we look at the internal consistency of reliability, which you have done today. And learning environment research, the internal consistency of each scale is established using Cronbach alpha coefficient, which you did today. So you can do the face validity, you can do the internal consistency validity. Then factor analysis. Factor analysis is the first step we do in any data. I didn't go with that today because CEC its factor analysis is already, factor structure is already established. And it's a little complex analysis. We didn't look at it, but it is important for any new research. This is how factor analysis looks like. If you look, every item, it's a data set where actual and preferred scores of a data set were analyzed, and you can see all items are, figuring separately. And it's also giving the engine value of more than one. That should be happen. Then for discriminant validity, we look at the unique dimensions that it covers. And factor analysis doesn't do that. Moving on, concurrent validity, I think I should move on, and the predictive validity as well. We can use simple correlation and multiple regression analysis for showing the predictive validity. And you did the simple correlation. Like we can look at the correlation between attitude and achievement. Today you looked at the correlation between the scales of CEC and attitude to STEM. And they were all statistically significant. Yes, please.
Usually have the predictive, I'm not really familiar with predictive validity. What does it really aim to, or what does it really mean in this kind of validity?
Because when we do any research, audience will ask you the reliability and validity of your results. So it is really very, very important to establish the validity and reliability of the instrument you are using. Because if instrument is not valid and reliable, your results are not reliable, valid and reliable. So if you can show, like sometimes it happens, out of 8 scales, 7 scales are statistically significantly correlated. That means we should use only 7 scales and delete the 8th one. But in our results, when we did analysis this morning, all scales were statistically and significantly correlated with each other, especially if you're looking at what I was looking at, the correlation between the attitude and scales of CEC, and also interscale reliability between the scales. That is to establish that we can use these scales together and report the results.
Or face validity, it's familiar, but predictive validity.
Face validity is only looking at the language. Face validity is only looking at the clarity of the language, but predictive validity goes into the statistical analysis where you look at the correlation of and we also do multiple regression analysis, which is the R2, regression 2, which we didn't do today because I just wanted to keep the analysis basic. Once this group gets expertise in doing the basic analysis, I'm sure they will themselves try the more complex analysis. Yeah.
Sedikit Prof. Yuli boleh bertanya ya?
Yeah. It is not, we did do correlation today, but we didn't do multiple regression. Yeah.
Silakan Bapak Ibu.
Baik, terima kasih. Begini Prof. Yuli, itu kan ada face validity ya. Nah itu face validity itu maksudnya apakah dilakukan penilaian oleh ahli atau panel expert ya, judgment expert terhadap butir-butir yang kita kita susun gitu ya, atau memang kita melakukan uji coba ke ke responden ya atau siswa gitu.
Baik Pak,
Nah,
saya terjemahin dulu ya.
Ya.
Is face validity is judged by a certain group of expert, or is that kind of validity is we get the data from the respondent?
That's why we generally do pre-testing. We run it with experts and even the target audience at times. It varies from the tool to tool. If the tool is pre-validated, then you may not need, but if I am translating a tool used in one language into other language, I will pre-test it with a smaller group of students and then maybe have an interview with them about the language and what are they understanding out of it. If you would have seen yesterday with CEC, we pre-tested it in 2 schools in 4 classrooms, and then also had focus groups with around 24 students and asked them questions about And the questions, what we asked them was not in the presentation, but we asked them questions scale by scale. Did you understand what was in the care? Would you think anything else needs to be included? And in addition to the experts, we did run it with students as well. But at times I have used WIC, which needed some changes, but pre-testing was not possible because of the type of the participants. We only tested it with the experts in the area. Does that answer your question?
Jadi menurut Bu Rekha bahwa itu tergantung pada instrumennya, Pak. Jadi ada instrumen yang memang akan dinilai oleh judge, oleh expert gitu, terutama untuk instrumen-instrumen yang belum di pre-testing. Jadi dia akan ditanyakan, terutama kalau misalnya kita menerjemahkan instrumen dari satu bahasa ke bahasa lain, maka kita akan tanya kepada expert di situ. Tapi kalau misalnya instrumennya itu pernah dilakukan tes, maka kita akan melakukan semacam ya kita melakukan validitas kepada responden dengan kelompok yang lebih kecil. Kemudian kita juga bertanya bertanya kepada responden itu apakah misalnya item-item itu bisa dipahami atau tidak sama mereka. Karena ada beberapa istilah yang mungkin tidak familiar. Seperti tadi Rekha misalnya mencontohkan gitu ya, kata punishment. Nah, ada beberapa anak di sekolahnya yang nggak ngerti, walaupun mereka berbahasa Inggris gitu ya, punishment itu apa, karena istilah itu nggak pernah digunakan. Atau misalnya dalam istilah strict. Strict itu juga punya istilah yang berbeda-beda dalam culture-culture yang berbeda. Misalnya dalam satu culture tertentu, strict itu dipahami dengan cara yang negatif, sementara culture yang lain strict itu dipahami secara positif. Nah, kita harus melihat maksud dari instrumen ini, strict itu arahnya kemana, apakah arahnya positif atau negatif. Jadi agar dia tidak salah untuk dipahami gitu. Gimana Pak, apakah menjawab pertanyaan Bapak?
Ya, cukup jelas. Terima kasih Bu Susi ya.
Pak, bentar, saya mesti terjemahin dulu ya. Nah, kok kepanjangan saya lupa. Bapak is commenting about the every instrument has their own validity, their own kind of validity, whether it is item validity or you mentioned step validity, and we should see whether each instrument or each scale itself has their own validity. But unfortunately for us, there is some validity which is not very familiar to us. So sometimes we are not really pay attention into that kind of validity. like criterion validity, we are familiar. Face validity, we are familiar, but in any other kind like predictive validity, maybe we are not really familiar with it.
You are exactly right. There are statistical tests for clear-cut statistical tests for reliability. As such, there is no test for validity. So it is a battery of tests. When we look at, yes, the reliability is good. Correlation is statistically significant. A multiple regression is statistically significant. We can take that questionnaire to be valid. So go for, even if you only go for face validity and predictive validity, don't look at the concurrent validity, that should be fine.
Jadi memang tidak semua validitas harus dilakukan semuanya, tergantung kepada skalanya. Misalnya ada instrumen-instrumen atau skala-skala yang kira-kira validitas dengan cara yang sederhana, seperti tadi product moment misalnya, itu cukup. Tapi ada juga mungkin instrumen-instrumen yang membutuhkan validitas yang lebih kompleks. Misalnya seperti predictive validitas itu kan dia menggunakan bisa menggunakan multiple regresi analisis, misalnya itu lebih kompleks.
So we move on, not much. So choice of level of analysis. What I found, I've been in learning environment field for more than 20 years, and I even looked at certain papers which were published in 80s or 90s. In those papers, and they are all available online, from the field of psychology, from the field of learning environments, there the statistical analysis done is quite basic. If they report on maybe reliability, because in 80s and maybe early 90s, all analysis was done manually. Now with this advent of these new software packages, which we used this morning, you have SPSS, you have the other packages, like where you can do other sort of analysis. There is lots of demand by the reviewers. When I send a paper for review, they say, you haven't done this. You could do rash analysis. You could do this analysis. So but it is choice or level of analysis when you're doing your thesis. I would say reliability, establishing factor analysis, reliability, and validity through correlation and multiple correlation should be enough. But it's getting complex and complex because people can do it. And we need to keep it in mind, and we have no control over it. And that's the world we are living in. And with AI coming, or artificial intelligence coming in view, I don't know how far we will go ahead. So there is literature around the level of analysis. We can, in SPSS, we can do analysis at class level and individual level. And when we send out our, generally my analysis has been at individual level, but you can do analysis even at class level. And when we send our papers for review, because in next session, we will be talking more about publication, and I'm making you aware about what sort of reviews we get, what sort of comments we get, and what's the expectation by reviewers and publishers. We do get feedback on, you have done analysis only on individual level. It would be good for you to give analysis of class level. So every table you present, you can present on individual level and class level, pre and post, actual and preferred. But what is really making a difference? I don't know, and no one knows. There is conflict in literature. And some say do it on class level, some say do it on individual level. Personally, I do it at individual level. But if reviewers want me to have it at class level, I may do that. I have had some students who, in their thesis, they presented the data on both levels. And it again, if my data at individual and class level is valid and reliable, that further establishes the validity and reliability of the tool you have used for the data. And certain units of analysis, which means it can be class, it can be individual, it could be gender, it could be cultural background, it can be anything. It can violate the requirement of independence of observations, because it is, if I go into a classroom and I am observing a group of students, it's very difficult for an observer or two observers in two different classrooms to look at the variance. But statistical analysis will tell me that variance. And that's what the conceptually different hypothesis comes into being if we are doing this quantitative data. Now, as I said, in many studies we do at class level and individual level. So using these two levels of analysis in current study permits comparison of results with prior research in the field of learning environment, which you can do, look at what has happened in literature in the past and what you are doing now. That's for this study. The next part, what we'll do, we will go on to the publication. Yeah, after lunch. But before that, if you have any questions about the two sessions this morning, feel free to ask.
Bapak Ibu, yang di Zoom ada pertanyaan atau yang di ruangan, setelah zuhur kita akan belajar lagi. Kita akan membahas jurnal, publikasinya seperti apa. Tapi untuk desain, ini kan kalau saya di mata kuliah tuh 1 semester ya, baik di Curtin ataupun di sini. Jadi kalau di packing 2 hari, saya yakin Bapak Ibu kan mungkin nanti belajar lagi ya. Cuma paling tidak kalau ada yang kurang mengerti gitu, selama 2 hari ini silahkan jika ingin mengajukan pertanyaan untuk Bapak Ibu yang di sini atau di sebelum kita break. Ya. Winstep ya. Rush. Oh, rush.
Rationality.
Yeah.
As I told yesterday, I'm not an expert on rash. I can only understand what rash is. Through rash, you can establish the factors structure of your questionnaire, and then you can also look at the relationships between the different scales. I may have presentation.
Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom mungkin ada pertanyaan juga sambil.
Iya, Prof.
Gimana, Pak Yun?
Sedikit Prof. Ini kan apa namanya tadi kan kita melakukan analisis validasi ya di menggunakan SPSS ya. Nah ini kan kalau kita lihat di artikelnya itu menggunakan apa namanya SEM ya Prof ya. Nah di situ kan kalau kita lihat ya di artikelnya Prof.
We haven't done ANOVA and MANOVA today because
Nah kalau kita lihat di
gimana Pak Yuyun?
di artikelnya itu loh Prof yang di apa namanya
Artikel yang mana? Artikel saya.
secondary and validation itu loh, CC secondary and validation.
Oh, there is in the article of CAC valid
Learning improvement research.
SEM.
Structural equation modeling, which is also done through rash analysis. And we haven't, as I told you, I'm not an expert on that very early on. This was my research assistant who did this analysis, but you can always find help. There are people who can help you with this data. See, this was when we did the university. Yeah. As I told you, I'm not a statistician. I've learned using SPSS, which is easy to use, and keeping in view, I run other busy life somewhere else. So I may have to sit down for a week or so and teach myself how to do SEM analysis and rash modeling.
Yeah. Ya, jadi Kak Yuyun nanti belajar rasnya sendiri ya. Jadi nggak cukup juga sih sebenarnya waktunya. Ada juga yang bisa sebenarnya yang di tim saya itu, yang di tim LER itu ada, kita biasa juga serahin ke dia untuk melakukan yang rasnya ya. Tapi kalau yang buat
maksud saya gini Prof.
Gimana? If you look at this table, it's very much
apa namanya kalau tadi kan
SPSS.
Gimana Pak Yun?
Kalau di sini kan berarti kan kalau validasi menggunakan SEM itu kan butir dengan dimensi ya Prof ya. Kalau yang itu yang ditunjukkan gambarnya itu ya. Nah kalau yang SPSS itu kan ini ya apa namanya lebih ke apa ya istilahnya ya korelasi atau validasi antara dimensi dengan dimensi ya Prof ya. Ini kan misalnya kontrol dengan motivation atau kontrol dengan clarity gitu ya. Nah ini
gimana? Jadi gini,
itu maksud saya Prof. Jadi tidak perbutir gitu Prof ya, dengan masing-masing dimensinya.
Pak Yun, selama saya publikasi yang LER ini, kita tinggal pilih aja. Ada publikasi saya yang klasik aja gitu, pakai SPSS, faktor analisis, kemudian mean, standar deviasi. Kemudian yang dengan Prof Yayu itu pakai rush, nggak sama sekali pakai yang, tapi Prof Yayu kadang dua-duanya dimasukin. Jadi tergantung research questionnya kita mau analisis sampai mana. Dan kadang yang klasik itu ditambah lagi data kualitatif. Jadi bebas, kita nggak apa-apa, mau kan artinya gini, kita mau tadi seperti pertanyaan Pak Muji, mau menggunakan validitas mau pakai apa gitu. Karena mau pakai rush atau enggak gitu, enggak ada masalah selama ini, selama saya publikasi sih sama Rekha. Cuma memang sekarang banyak yang pakai rush ya, many people using rush. Yeah. Sekarang jadi banyak yang pakai.
We have this application, software application, many people have started using, and it's not only people have started using, even reviewers are asking for doing rash analysis. A few weeks back in Curtin University, now our students, when they write their research proposal, they have to do a presentation. And the feedback the student was, who was working in learning environment field, was given, why are you only doing this analysis? You should also do the rash analysis.
Iya. Jadi kadang kalau kita submit, reviewernya suka minta lagi, tambahin rush gitu. Karena sekarang lagi ngetren gitu kayaknya ya. Iya. Iya. Kayak sama, maksudnya kan yang satu pakai SPSS aja nih pakai. Iya, iya. Jadi tergantung sebenarnya depend on apa research question apa yang mau kita tanya ya, misalnya gender differences atau apa. Itu sih yang selama ini saya ada juga yang pakai rush ya, yang kayak miskonsepsi. Maksudnya tergantung kita juga sih sebenarnya.
Rahayu from UNJ.
Iya,
She is expert in rash and she did do 2 papers using rash analysis.
iya,
Maybe you can get her one day and run a workshop with students for 3-4 hours.
Iya. Iya. Ya, coba. Mbak Palukan jelasin ke Pak Yun nih. Ya.
Jadi nambah aja nih, bukan kurang ya, mungkin yang saya tahu. Kalau pakai SPSS, misal tadi ada menguji perbedaan gender laki-laki perempuan, kalau SPSS itu nggak bisa nunjuk perempuan mana yang lemah, yang tinggi, yang sedang. Nama by item. Tapi dia bisa membedakan rata-rata bahwa laki-laki beda sama perempuan dalam satu grup. Tapi ras bisa menunjuk dari misalnya 120 perempuan atau 1000 perempuan itu mana-mana yang lemah di satu variabel. Nah, nanti kita bisa ekstrak. Lalu kalau misalnya data kita lengkap, kita bisa pakai diagnostik ras lagi. Kenapa mereka lemah di situ? Jadi bisa angka dapat secara kualitatif juga kita bisa jelaskan. Ada grafiknya juga bagus juga. Tapi dia nggak bisa double. Dia satu-satu. Kalau yang multiple bisa, tapi yang ras itu satu-satu, satu variabel ujinya.
Ya, termasuk kayak ada item yang ada partisipan yang bermasalah, misalnya semuanya oke dengan item itu, tapi ada satu partisipan yang kayaknya kok responnya beda. Nah, itu juga kita bisa dapat. Gitu Pak Yun. Pak Yun udah di ini kali ya, rush di prodi ya? Oh, mandiri ya. Nggak ada mata kuliahnya ya Pak Yun, evaluasi PP?
Yang maksudnya Prof?
Nggak ada lagi ya Pak Yuyun sekarang?
Nggak ada Prof, langsung disertasi.
Iya.
Mohon bimbingannya di Prof.
Iya. Karena dulu ada itu diajarkan. Iya.
Dulu ada sih mata kuliah SEM ya, cuman saya nggak ngambil mata kuliah itu karena waktu saya ngambil sepertinya nggak ada teman gitu sehingga nggak jadi gitu.
Ya, selamat belajar ya, karena kan Doctor of Evaluasi Education ya, alhamdulillah saya chemistry education Pak Yuyun, jadi saya nggak wajib belajar ras. Iya, mudah-mudahan nanti ya khususnya untuk publikasi ya memang lebih dilirik sih ya Rush. Kayak biasanya kalau pakai teori klasik saya tambah-tambah kualitatif yang mendalam supaya ada nilai plusnya. Yes, Rekha. He is doctoral student and I told him you should learn those.
Yeah, that would be if you could do the basic analysis first, but at the same time, if there's a requirement that you want to have rash analysis, you don't have to kill yourself for learning this. What you could do, ask an expert to do this analysis and develop. When I did my PhD, I didn't know that time how to run SPSS. Someone else did analysis for me, and then I used it in my thesis, but I really wanted to know what it means. So for that, I had to do a lot of reading and what this data was telling me. But over time, I learned how to analyze data because I was doing more and more research, and it helped me. But over some time, you get very busy with other administrative jobs. So I had the research assistants who have been helping me with analysis and doing the rash and structural equation modeling. So ask someone who can do that, but learn to read it. That's very important.
Ya, kalau baca kan kita nggak bisa, misalnya dapat grafiknya, dapat tabelnya nih, gimana cara bacanya, kalau itu wajib tahu ya. Tapi kalau mungkin gunain software atau apa, kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu ada waktu ya lebih baik lagi ya untuk belajar. Begitu Pak Yun ya, semangat ya Pak, segera lulus S3-nya. Oke, ada lagi Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom? Cukup? Cukup ya Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom? Oke. Yang di sini ya. We break. Oke, Bapak Ibu.
Thank you
kita
everyone.
break ya.
And next session I think will be much shorter.
Yeah.
And we'll let you go early today.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll talk about publications and possible journals where you can publish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oke. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu semua ya. Kita break dulu. Ya kayaknya mungkin sama kayak kemarin ya. Jam 1:30 mudah-mudahan kita bisa mulai kembali gitu. Oke, terima kasih ya Bapak Ibu. Sampai bertemu lagi jam 1:30 ya, 1:30 ya. Nah, setelah ini kita akan belajar publikasinya ya. Jadi Bapak Ibu tahu jurnal apa targetednya ya untuk publikasi tipe-tipe riset seperti ini. Oke, terima kasih. Selamat siang. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.